Hey guys, it's Stacy. I want to start by saying I personally love AdSense. It's the first method I put up on pretty much all of my sites to try to monetize them. I would recommend starting with that and then starting to build and test other monetization methods on top of it after getting an AdSense base on pretty much any site that you own. Here's a screenshot of what's possible in AdSense. You can easily make 50 or 100 a day just with any type of site as long as it has enough traffic. You can make a ton more too, or a ton less obviously, but I just wanted to show you guys what is possible with AdSense so you can kind of wrap your head around that before we go into the details. In other videos, I talk a lot about switching away from AdSense or trying different ad networks to make money, to like double revenue or whatever off the bat, but some sites that I've actually owned have had the best RPM on AdSense. So I'm not saying AdSense is always the worst ad platform. It really differs by niche, and AdSense can actually be the best ad platform. In order to be making money from AdSense, you actually have to have a website that's getting some type of traffic. AdSense pays per page view and per click. So if you're not getting page views and clicks on your site, you're not going to be making money for AdSense. So you can either start your own site and then build up the traffic, or you can buy a site that's already making money and then put AdSense on it. Once you start getting over 100 visitors a day, that's really when you should start putting AdSense up. Before that, it's probably not going to be worth it, and you're probably not going to be seeing a ton of revenue from AdSense, although you can always put it up early and try if it's something you do really want to test early on. I actually get tons of my traffic from Google organic search, and I get some from social channels like Pinterest, Instagram, and some from email lists, and some from direct traffic and other methods. So you can choose to drive traffic to your site in any way. It doesn't just have to be from Google or direct traffic, and AdSense will still pay you no matter what the source is, although you have an advantage if you're driving traffic from the US or UK or any English-speaking affluent traffic base, because AdSense will pay you more for that, and so will the other ad platforms that you can choose. Don't try to trick AdSense and send fake bot traffic or any of that thing, because they'll simply just ban you and not even pay you for the money that you've built up in your account. I mean, I've never done that, but I've heard stories of people who have, so it's best something not to even consider, because then you don't have a chance to make money from any sites, so there's no reason to do that. Once you have enough traffic, all you have to do is sign up for an account at adsense.com. You need a Gmail address, so you can just sign up using that, and then you submit your website URL, and they'll approve it or they'll not approve it. I've always had my URLs approved. They pretty much just look for content that violates their terms of service and that type of thing, so as long as you're within that, you should be fine. I think they also look for if it's traffic that they want to monetize, so as long as you fit their criteria, you should get approved. Once you're approved, all you have to do is create an ad in AdSense. I usually create the responsive ads unless I'm creating a sidebar specific ad, where I choose a 300 by 600 pixel ad and place that directly in the sidebar. So usually just choose the responsive ads and then copy and paste it into your site directly, or you can use a plugin such as Ad Inserter, which I like to use, and you just kind of paste it and then tell Ad Inserter where you want it to show. I like to start with an ad at the top of the page, at the bottom of the page, and in the sidebar for desktop, and then later on you can kind of add one under like the first image or the title, and later in the middle of the site too, and you can test what tends to have a higher RPM for your site. To really segment your testing, you can create separate ads for each placement within AdSense, because then you can tell which ad placements have the highest RPM and the highest revenue. And if there are some that are getting views but aren't really making you money, you can just take those out. If you're wondering how AdSense pays you, so they actually get to keep 42% of the revenue, which it's owned by Google, and then you get to keep 68% of the revenue. I actually looked that stat up for this video, and I was surprised. I thought it would be more of a 50-50 split, but you actually get to keep the vast majority of the revenue, which is actually pretty cool. I think some other ad platforms are closer to 50-50, or even where the publisher gets to keep more. So the fact that AdSense gives you such a high percentage is actually pretty cool. Every type of site and every niche has a different average RPM, which is revenue per milli, which is Latin for 1,000, so revenue per 1,000 page views. You'll get an idea of letting it run for a few weeks what your site and your niche's RPM is, and the higher RPM the better, because that means you'll be making more per visitor and more per month. And so that's why it's so important to test ad networks, even just test AdSense, test other types to see which has the highest RPM for your site, because often it will differ and you can quickly increase the amount of money you're making if you try a different ad network. I'm going to explain RPM quickly. If your RPM is $5, that means you're making $5 per 1,000 page views on average. To make 100 a day with a $5 RPM, you would need 20,000 page views a day. So this means you could have 10,000 visitors a day if they each view an average of 2 pages on your site. So you can see how the more page views per visitor, the less visitors you need to make more. This is why a lot of those like scammy celebrity sites and even just news sites, they try to make you click through tons and tons of pages to get to what you want to see, or they try to make listicles and where you have to click to each page, because that really inflates their page views. Theoretically, it's increasing their revenue because they're getting so many more page views. But in practice, if you're making a horrible user experience, the user is going to leave and your RPM and click-through rates for the ads are probably going to be lower. I would say optimize it for the user experience over page views, because you're probably not going to get a huge boost just from increasing your page views, but it is an interesting metric, and some sites try to inflate that. I love AdSense because it lets you see the RPM for different ad types, including image versus text ad, targeted or contextual ad types, and different RPMs for very granular metrics, and you can actually turn on and off some of these things. I've turned off image ads on some sites when I saw the RPM was so much lower than my text ad RPM, and they were both getting thousands of views a day, but the text RPM was through the roof and the image RPM was super low. So I turned off the image one, and then the overall RPM of the site shot up, and I have gotten like increases like 20% or more in overall daily revenue just from doing tiny tweaks like that. You want to dive into the reports, look at it on a granular level, and see if there's anything you can adjust to increase your revenue, even by changing ad targeting type or ad types such as text versus video and image, etc. Now that you know what AdSense is, and you're probably wondering, okay, so how can I get a website where I start getting traffic to it and making money from AdSense? Well, I'm going to take you through like a quick keyword research method that can help you start to get organic traffic on a site. Go to the Google Keyword Planner. This is Google's keyword tool that lets you see how many searches a keyword gets on Google per month. If you don't currently run ads on Google and pay for ad spend, you actually just get a range of estimates. But if you run ads, you'll get very specific monthly search volume estimates. It still gives you a good idea, and it's a good place to start even if you don't run ads on the platform. And it's the tool that I like to use because they're pulling from their own data, and they're the biggest search engine, so it's really the most accurate tool out there. When you log in, you want to choose the keyword idea tab, and then you can type in a few of your keyword ideas, hit enter, and it will give you the estimated monthly search volume for every keyword. And so this is where you can kind of start to see if a keyword is worth even targeting at all. A kind of a cool trick, if you look at the top of page bid section, that tells you what advertisers are willing to pay per click for that keyword. So it can kind of give you an idea if the niche you're targeting has a low or high revenue per page view. I don't really take this into account because I personally go for driving traffic, and then whatever the RPM is, I kind of go with it, because say you drive millions of page views to your site because you do really good keyword research or you drive traffic in other ways, you're going to get paid quite a lot even if your RPM is super low. And say if you target super high RPM keywords, like 100 RPM or more, but you drive 0 page views to your site, you're going to get $0 in revenue. So I would recommend focusing on traffic over RPM when you're doing keyword research, because as long as you're getting traffic, you're still going to be able to make some type of money. Another thing is, if you choose a keyword that has a really high monthly search volume, it might be really competitive. So I'm going to show you how you can see if it's too competitive for you to write an article around or not. I like to choose keywords that have at least 100 monthly search volume, and even if they have less, sometimes I'll write an article around them. Once you find a list of keywords and they have enough search volume, what you're going to want to do is go to your Google Chrome browser and put in the Moz free Chrome extension. This extension allows you to see the domain authority and the page authority of any site and any keyword. So you can type in your keyword, say it has 1,000 monthly search volume in Google, and the Moz extension will show you the domain authority and the page authority of all the pages ranking for that keyword. So then you can check the domain authority and page authority of your own website. If your website is in the ballpark, at least close to or above the domain authority and page authority of the current ranking sites, that means that your site has a chance to rank for that keyword and you should write an article on it. So that's a quick intro to keyword competitive research and how you can start finding keywords and articles for your site that you can start getting organic traffic for, and then AdSense will start paying you. So that's a quick little intro. If you guys want me to do more of that type of video or go really in depth with keyword research, I could do that type of video. So comment below if that is something you're interested in. And let me know if you already make money from AdSense. Let me know if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, and please like and subscribe if you are as well, because I'm not going to produce a ton of videos unless I do get likes and subscribes, because otherwise they won't show in search to anyone. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.